Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Lakeside. It is an absolute privilege to come back here again. We have, as you will see in your programme, and I'll mention it a bit later, but obviously this year we did tragically lose Bob Potter, OBE, who has been a massive supporter of this concert. For 25 years this concert's been running for, and this band has been doing it for the last 9. We did lose Bob Potter this year, but you know, his legacy is Lakeside and the many musicians that have made their name over the years here. So we'll mention that a little bit more later on. And we are going to start this evening's performance with an overture. The overture we've chosen for you this evening is called The Arcadians. It was written in premiered in 1909. It's a it's about as English as you can get of light operettas. And it tells the story fundamentally of a group of idyllic Arcadians who were trying to transform wicked London into a land of peace and tranquility. I suspect they failed. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, please do enjoy our overture for you this evening, The Arcadians. Thank you very much. I do love starting a concert with a good traditional overture, so I'm sure, I'm looking out actually, I can see a lot of familiar faces here tonight, so those of you that have seen, you do know that we do vary our repertoire a lot, and I do hope you enjoyed that. Our next piece is going to feature our principal oboist. She's actually our only oboist as well, but her name's Victoria Small, and we did feature her in earlier on in the year in Guildford. She played a very beautiful solo, The Watermill, and then since then we found another oboe solo, and we've agreed, as in me, that she's going to do an oboe solo on every concert until we've run out of oboe solos. But the one that we found for you this evening actually is by a gentleman called Astor Piazzolla, who was an Argentinian composer and very fine instrumentalist as well. And he wrote lots and lots of tangos, and this is, perhaps a very sort of slow, subtle. You can hear the sort of tango influence in it, but it's a nice, gentle one where you can just sit back and relax to some wonderful oboe sounds coming from Victoria. So please show your support and enjoy Oblivion. Thank you. I do hope you enjoyed that. I did. Makes me want to take up the oboe. I don't think I'll be very good at it. Well, we've got one more piece to play before we've got a feature performance for you tonight. And the piece we've chosen for you is by a selection of pieces just called Moment for Morricone. Obviously, it features the music of Ennio Morricone. Much of it, I suspect, you will know, the good, the bad, and the ugly, being the biggest one that you probably will all recognise. But I do hope you enjoy this selection. Ennio Morricone, you know, what a phenomenal composer, Italian composer of so many film music. I do just hope you just sit back and just enjoy this rather lively arrangement, just simply called Moment for Morricone. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I enjoyed that. I hope you did as well. Well, we have a treat for you this evening. So over the last few years, we've been sort of trying to find other local groups to us to take part in this performance. And well, this year we found a group that's never played at the Lakeside before. So it's an honour for us to have them. And they are the Sandhurst and District called Proms. And they're on their way now. If you can look over there, you can see them coming on, and they look absolutely tremendously smart. There's a description in the programmes about them. I believe they base their uniforms on that of the Royal Marines. And they're going to play a set for you this evening, which I really, really hope that you do enjoy, because part of what we believe in here, what I believe in, is that music has to start, it has to start right from the beginning, and we must support it in all of our communities. And all these instructors that help these people out are doing it voluntarily. They're giving up a tremendous amount of their time to make the musicians of the future. And if we look after them, they might all join the Surrey Police Band in 5 or 10 years' time, which would be tremendous as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause for the Sandhurst and District Choir of Proms. drums. There is, in amongst the description of the choir drums, their website address is on there, and there will be some of them hanging around also. They're always interested in really, really massive donations as well, so if any of you got credit cards tonight or something. But, you know, it's terrific. You know, these groups, they're run by people who volunteer to set them up and just to make sure that we can still have music in our lives, which is absolutely tremendous. And some of these musicians are going to be there, you know, in bands for the rest of their lives, which is fantastic. So, really appreciate them coming along tonight. And actually, I'll let you into a little secret. I only invited them along 2 weeks ago. So I actually only had one rehearsal tonight for tonight. So to do a set that long was absolutely terrific as well. So 3 things I got out of that. Well, 4 actually. We won't mention the British Grenadiers. I know there's some Irish Guardsmen in the audience. There's 3 Irish Guards musicians in the band, if I count myself as well, or ex-Irish Guards musicians. So if you heard, if you're Irish, a couple of us would have been looking at each other through the corner of our eyes. I also recognise the sash in there at the very beginning. And the next piece of music we're going to play for you is Those Magnificent Men in Their Flying Machine, which has already been played for me, which is fantastic. So we thought we'd put it in because this is a very well-coordinated programme, so obviously we knew they were going to play it, and they knew we were going to play it. It's actually from the 1965 film, which is simply titled Those Magnificent Men in Their Flying Machine. And it's the film, I don't know if any of you've watched it, but I'm sometimes a bit of a geek when it comes to watching really early films where the music is still amazing, but the film is probably quite ropey now by today's standards. It is meant to be a sort of comedy film, but it tells the story of the early days of flight, where pretty much people were kind of like looking at birds and thinking, yeah, if I get my bicycle and put some wings on it, it's probably going to fly. And they're sort of cycling down, and the whole film is quite comical, and eventually there's this sort of state-funded sort of sponsorship thing of, right, okay, this is flying, but some people are only sort of making it 2 foot in the ground and then crashing and things like that. And they went, right, okay, there's a prize money on this for the first person who can fly from London to Paris. And that's what the film's all about. So this fantastic music still survives. If you don't want to watch the film, then I've just told you what the film's about. So ladies and gentlemen, we're pleased to enjoy our rendition of Those Magnificent Men in Their Flying Machines. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed our rendition as much as you enjoyed the Sandhurst and District Choir Drums rendition. We've got one more piece now to play before we take you to the interval. Now, I do also like to say on this concert, but whilst it's lovely that you all sit here and enjoy the music, don't feel guilty if you do get up and spend some money at the bar. The only reason I say is for a couple of reasons. Lakeside do donate this to the Royal British Legion as part of their charitable contribution to the Royal British Legion. So the money that Lakeside itself will make out of tonight will only be from behind the bar. And I'm sure that all the bar profits will go to the Legion as well. But please don't feel guilty. If you want to get up and get a drink, you are more than welcome to. If not, the band's going to go for a drink in the interval, and you're welcome to come and have a chat with us as well. The interval will be about 15 to 20 minutes, if that's all right with yourselves, hopefully. It's always a good idea to ask the audience questions like that. The piece we're going to play to take the interval, though, is called Irving Berlin Showstoppers. You know that it's called that because it's written in your programmes. But what you may not know is all the selection of pieces that are contained in it. Button on the wrist, cheek to cheek, shaking the blues away, stepping out with my baby, and of course to finish with, there's no business like show business. Ladies and gentlemen, Irving Berlin Showstoppers. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The band will see you in about 15 to 20 minutes. Depending on how strong they get. Oh, welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you are all thoroughly refreshed. Hopefully you've all spent an absolute fortune on the raffle. And if you didn't hear what I said sort of 20 minutes ago, if any of you do win in the raffle, then your raffle prizes will be brought to your table. So please make sure you don't make too many friends tonight and sit on the wrong table, otherwise you might go home without your raffle prize. So to open our second half, we're going to play a piece of music called It's Not Unusual for you. There's a reason that I would like to play this for you, and it's to do with, I don't know how many of you know, but It's Not Unusual, obviously, was sung by Tom Jones, made very, very famous. Tom Jones' career was launched here, in this area of Surrey. And the story goes, so legend has it, that back in the day, this young man called Tom Jones came over from Wales, came down here, and he was in the Camberley area at one of the ballrooms. And when he was there, he said, I want to see Bob Potter, I want him to hear my voice. So those of you who don't know, this venue wasn't just set up. This Bob Potter goes back a long way as a musician, as a young man. And at this time, Bob Potter, who was quite successful with what he was doing, was actually had his own arrangers, had his own band, he employed lots of, back then, military musicians and civilian musicians, and they went around all the palace ballrooms. And he also used to buy a lot of the palace ballrooms as well and employ his own musicians in them. So young Tom Jones came along, sang some songs to Bob Potter, and Bob Potter turned around and said something along the lines of, I like his voice, but I don't like what he's singing. So Bob Potter turned around to two of his arrangers, Gordon Mills and Les Reed, and said, write this young Welshman a tune, write him a tune. And the tune they came up with was, It's Not Unusual. So our rather lively tribute for yourselves tonight to the life of Bob Potter will be It's Not Unusual. And we should never dismiss, actually, the work that Bob did. His whole life was dedicated to the arts industry, and there aren't many people that make it in the world, in the music world, make money, and actually are giving back all the time. And this venue here, as you look around you, and if you go backstage, which you're not allowed to tonight because the band are there, you'll see even more photographs of all the artists that have worked here over the years. And the music industry, in Britain wouldn't be quite what it is without people like Bob Potter. So this is our tribute to Bob Potter, a piece of music that was written by his own arrangers for Tom Jones and launched the career of the great Welshman. So, ladies and gentlemen, please just enjoy. I do hope you enjoyed that. I do hope you enjoyed the little bit of history that went with it as well, because I think that history is very important. You know, that piece of music launched Tom Jones' career, and that wouldn't have been launched if it wasn't for Bob Potter. Slow it down a little bit for you now. We are going to stay in the sort of popular idiom for a moment or two for you, with a much, much calmer piece called One Moment in Time. Obviously performed by Whitney Houston, and it was written originally for the 1988 Summer or Winter Olympics. Actually, I forget which. Anyway, let's go with summer. I think that's what it says in the score, and that's what the band was shouting behind me. So I can't remember that long ago. I wasn't born. See you in a bit.
very much, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it is traditional at this Poppy Appeal concert that this year we always have a moment of reflection, and we usually start that with Nimrod, which we're going to perform for you now. And that's just to calm down the mood for you a little moment. The standard bearers are going to come on, and after that, ladies and gentlemen, there will be the moment of reflection, the exaltation, the silence, and the reveille, and a keen epitaph. So, if I could just ask those of you that are dying to get up to go for a drink to hold off for 5 minutes, please, whilst we go into the most important part of this evening's concert. So, ladies and gentlemen, the band will just change the mood a little bit with the traditional piece of music that you hear every year at the Cenotaph. It's Nimrod.
they shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
When you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow we gave our today.
tribute to the end of the Act of Remembrance. It's Percy Granger's own interpretation of a song that goes back to the 1700s called Ye Banks and Braes of Bonnie Doon, where Robert Burns had got involved with the writing of the words of the poem, and it was gradually put to a tune and over several centuries, and eventually Percy Granger got his hands on it and did that wonderful arrangement for wind band that you just heard there. We have something slightly different for you now. It's simply called Titanic Medley, and I do hope you enjoy it. It's been arranged from a Japanese arranger by the surname of Hoshide, and I think it's quite a sort of professional level wind band arrangement for what it is, and it's taken the main theme songs from the 1997 film of the same name, Titanic, which obviously tells the story, perhaps slightly elaborated in a few places, of the tragic 1912 accident of the unsinkable ship, the biggest ship in the world of its time, of its day, meant to be unsinkable, and we all know the rest of the story. Hit an iceberg, and tragically it sunk, and the loss of life was quite, well, it was 2,500 people, I think. It's also, though, the film, I think, what it really did show is it epitomises sort of the British class system of the sort of, the lower classes were right down there, and where all different people were coming from, and they're all going to the new promised land of America for a new and better life in whatever walk of life they've come from. So I do hope you just enjoy this arrangement. You'll recognise a lot of the music. It is, of course, from the film Titanic. arrangements. So I do like to sort of try out new arrangements with our audiences and see how well they go down, so I hope you enjoyed that one. Well, we are getting gradually towards the end of our concert now, and if you look at your tables, you might find some flags. And if you look at your programme, if you don't know the words, we've been kind, we've printed them in the back of the programme for you, but I don't think you need the words. I think you know what to do, and I'd like you to just to enjoy having a bit of a flag waving finale, if that's okay, to Pomp and Circumstance, Military March, number 1 by Henry Bell.
invite the Mayor up now just to say a few words, hopefully all good words as well. I do hope you've all had a good time tonight. You all know what this evening's cause is for. It's the launch and start of the Royal British Legion Poppy Appeal, one of the greatest causes of the year. It's to serve all our, veterans and current serving soldiers. And I do genuinely hope that you've had a good evening tonight, and that you'll come again and support us. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Mayor.
Well, Aldermen, members, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for inviting me this evening. It's been absolutely fabulous. I arrived this evening and he said, "You will do a speech, won't you?" So, but some of you know who I am. So, but I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you, the musicians, who've been absolutely wonderful. Special thank you for the Sandhurst and District Drum Corps. Now, they are our future, and we've got to look after them and make sure that they can get what they need, because they're going to look after us in our old age. I'm not old yet. Another big thank you for all those lovely ladies and gentlemen and the cadets who stand in wet car parks, outside Waitrose, shaking a bucket under your nose, saying, "Give us a penny." Please give generously, and if you have to buy 2 or 3 poppies, so what? This is for our boys. These are for the boys that aren't in England, that are serving all over. So please remember that some of them don't come back. Some of them are injured. Some of them need our help. So please give generously. And thank you to all you lovely people that shake the buckets. Last year, Surrey alone raised over £1 million. And I think that is a wonderful... So thank you everybody for coming. And the Master of Ceremonies said, he's the musical director, mentioned the wonderful Bob Potter. I remember Bob Potter, and my dad told me a lot about him, because in those days, Bob used to go out in a very old car. That's not what he landed up with, but he went out in a very old car, and he used to pay at the officers' mess. Some of you who live in Windlesham might know it as the 5 Club. He used to go there, wind or rain, and he deserved everything he got. And so thank you, Bob, for letting us, Bob and the Potter family, for having this venue this evening. It's made it possible for the Camberley Branch to have their event. So the last thanks are to you all for coming and supporting it. Thank you very much.
Lightning reflections, lightning reactions there. Didn't see me catch the microphone, did you? Thank you to all of you. I haven't mentioned it, but the Mayor just did, to the Camberley Branch of the Royal British Legion, because without their support, it would be very difficult for us to put this on musically as well. So I do appreciate them. They've been running this concert a very, very long time, 25 years. 9 of them have been us. Please, man. Have you got time for a quick encore? Yes. Are you sure? People I should be asking are the ones that can't chat over there, the standard bearers, the 4 standard bearers. Would you mind just standing fast for 2 or 3 minutes while we give the audience an encore, and then we can march the standards off. They've been stood there for such a very long time, so do feel free to bend your knees, but don't make sure you don't get caught. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for all your support tonight for the Poppy Appeal. We do appreciate it, and it makes the band feel so much more comfortable. We've got such an appreciative audience as yourselves. so much. We've got some terrific singers here in Surrey, by the way. So if any of you want to perform next year, just drop us an email. Thank you so much. You've been brilliant this evening. The band's had a great time, and our standard bearers have been stood there for ages. They do now need to march off. So the band are going to march them off to a very old march, which is, I love it. It's as British as it comes, simply called the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, I bid you all a good evening and a safe journey home. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, everyone. See you next time. Have a safe journey home, and we hope to see you on one of our concerts soon. Thank you. Have a good night.